of JoJo Part 8, Jojolion. I believe we're good to go. Right, we actually are good to go. So actually have a return to actually cover chapter 98 of good old JoJo Part 8, Jojolion. As we know, 97. Oh my god, was that a chapter, my dudes? That was a chapter and a half. That was. Gotta be honest, this whole entire part has kind of gone from, you know what, I know where this is going, to, huh? Half the time. Oh man, Toru's actual kind of involvement in the whole entire part now is actually very interesting, and it kind of begs to actually wonder what the actual eventual outcome will be for like the antagonist, or not like how we've actually kind of always explained it, how everyone can infer the antagonist as actually the way he wants to go. But either way, I believe Jobin's not doing so great either. That's another thing to note as well. Like Jobin's not doing so hot. I guess, is that a pun because his stand involves heat? I'm not too sure, but if it is, hey, I made a pun. But yeah, I guess we'll find out. I think Josuke's still vibing somewhere. He's still vibing. Mama Sakurai's just like, yeah, I'm cool now. I'm out. I'm actually gonna go and do some things. And then the 89-year-old head doctor, as we know, who's very much 89 years old, is still vibing. He's still vibing. He's on the vibe. So yes. Anyway, let us continue. Let's actually not first. Let's actually put my chair in a little bit because otherwise I'm very behind. Thank you so much. My hair's actually gone out of control because I let it grow I let it dry naturally, and actually now it's become a massive furball because my hair's actually naturally really curly. So I get really scared whenever it gets really curly because it actually is like, it borderlines on bro half the time. So thank you for complimenting my actual hair. I actually fear my natural hair sometimes. But yeah, most of the time it's actually a massive like furball of just curls and everything like that. That is my hair. Anyway, I'm gonna talk of random hair problems. Actually, begin 98 actually is called Endless Calamity Part 4. Thank you so much. He's finally pursuing. Ugh. He's still vibing though. He's still vibing. He's heading towards the same place as me. Tomoki's lab, the place where Josuke is waiting. I can't let him get there first. Damn it. I love how Josuke's just sitting there vibing, like the whole entire time. We know the purpose of why he's there, what he's doing, but I just can't help it just be like, he's vibing. Ugh. It's actually kind of cool because in other parts, the main protagonist actually has to kind of pursue the main antagonist, I guess inverted commas in this context, because we don't really know whether or not it actually is. But it's actually kind of cool that in this one, Josuke's just kind of like, I'll let him come to me instead. It's cool. It's a nice subversion. Which I guess what this whole entire part technically is it just a subversion of all previous parts, because it doesn't exist in the same vacuum as like part 7, 6, and 5. Which is its own thing. It's basically, I guess it's like Blade Runner 2049 in a way. That's what I think I got at last time. How both exist, but both are very vastly different, but also exist in the exact same kind of like, in a way, continuity. But I guess not, because it's technically a new timeline. JoJo. Ugh. Damn it. Look at the swag boy just sitting there. Just look at him. The swag boy. He's got the JoJo swag. He's acquired it. He's harnessed it. Josuke, what are you doing? What are you doing just sitting there? He'll be in this lab any second. No, he's just vibing. He just doesn't care. He's like, right, Mamazuku, right. I got this. It's the first time ever in the JoJo part where an antagonist will be taken out by just vibing alone. No punching, just vibing. the right path. Even if I walked on by even if I walked on by a saint who makes no mistakes, it's unavoidable that bad things will sometimes occur. That is calamity. Finally, guess I'll go get it. I never imagined that Higashikata Jobin was the one who'd had it. Right now, the Nyoka is on the other side of the door in the back of the garage. Mizuki-san, you came. Wait, Josuke, you don't mean to tell me you influenced him to come here, did you? Do you understand how his stand works? It's coming right now. It's like, bro, I know. I know this. That head doctor himself is the stand. It's the same thing as the stand that was following us since back in the Lamborghini. And we still don't even have a lead for who the main body is. It's an automatic tracking attack stand. I got help from Holly's-san again, just a little while ago. She risked her own life to save mine. From his perspective, the fact that I'm alive right now means he'll go to finish her off too, as soon as he gets the chance. Our only choice is to beat him here. I understand that stand ability and its goal. I'm going to kill the stand directly, and there's a way to do it. He's going through walls. He's harnessed the power of wall teleportation. Here he comes. Everything in this world, all things under heaven and earth, and the connections between them, none of them will be on your side if you just move an inch from that chair. An all-out attack of power called disaster will be coming for you. I love how Momozuki's just kind of like, what the fuck's going on? And then Josuke's just like, I've got this. He's like, bro, I know what I'm doing. Momozuki's just kind of like, just losing his mind, and Josuke's just like, vibe. I have these soap bubbles. I have soft and wet that exist under heaven and earth. Supple and moist, they spin. And as for things being on my side, Amazuki-san, you made it. You're here. And while she's somewhere else, my ally, Yashoho, is out there too. There's a way to beat him. It's pretty cool though. I must admit, the design is pretty amazing. It's got a cool design. Even if he's harnessed the ability to actually go through walls, and also, like, the bro doesn't need doors anymore, still pretty cool though. That Josuke actual just stare though. That stare is so cool. It's just like, bruh, I know what I'm doing. Oh? Something seems odd in that lab. It's that Higashikata Josuke guy. Someone was in those shrubs a second ago. They're there now. Toro-kun? Toro-kun? Are you there? Huh? Something terrible. Something terrible just happened inside. Everything's gotten so fucked up. I must admit, basically the best description of Part 8 in a nutshell. Everything's gotten so fucked up. It's true. I'm waiting for Joshi to basically MVP his whole entire part again, like he did beforehand. I'm waiting for him just to kind of swoop in and be like, by the way, I'm best boy. I'd be like, indeed, my dude, indeed. I knew you'd come here. Shoho-chan, I'm gonna help you. He's a good boy. He's a good boy. I still love how just the vibes of Josuke. My god, how can you not get more swag than that pose? Just look at him. He's like, bitch, I know you're just vibing, but I don't care. This is the swag off. He's having a swag off right now. They're determining who's the most swaggy person in part 8. I see this. I see this firsthand. They're acquiring the rightful heir to the JoJo swag. It's true. That's what's happening right now. Like, nothing else is transpiring as part besides they're acquiring and actually harnessing and actually then obtaining the actual JoJo swag. Who will win? That is the question. So, which will be the first to pursue me? Those soap bubbles? You, Yoshikata Josuke? Or will it be you, Mamazuku Rai? Or will it perhaps be all of the above at once? It seems you've already reasoned that pursuing me leads to disaster, and that you want me to be the one to pursue you. But something is odd. There's a strange air about this room. Yoshikata Josuke, I wonder if I should set foot on the floor of this lab where you've been waiting for me. Oh, what to do? That's what I'm thinking right now. That there might be something I don't want to be stepping on. The point where those on the long journey are most likely to meet with an accident is just before returning home. This long-running journey is over. I have obtained the new Rakuka, and both you and I will soon return home. So, who will win? Who will win this? Who will win this swag off? That is the real undying question. Much less, there is our there is our good old please carve the stream. But who will win this swag off? That is the real question. So let us be cautious of a calamity occurring just before returning home. Both you and I. Oh. Josuke! Do you see that? It's a living creature. He just released some kind of creature into the floor. Correct. Well done realizing it's a living creature, especially without having touched it to make sure. Though you're going to be touching it very soon. Imagine just being like, oh shit, what's that on the floor, and just go over and immediately touching it. No one does that. That's like rule number one of things that appear in floors. You do not touch them, just in case. It's rule number one. Besides cooking bacon without your shirt on, everyone knows the rules, the 3 rules of life. Do not cook bacon with your shirt off. Everyone knows that. 2, do not touch things that come out of floors. And 3, I don't know what 3 even is, but we'll soon find out. It's there. It's flat. It's flattened and melded with the floor. It's coming towards us. Joseph's kind of like, oh no. Joseph's just kind of just sitting there like, what do I do? What is that? What are those movements? It's Meccano. I think like what 20% of who watch me will actually know what Meccano even is. If you do, that's very cool. Meccano was like amazing. Huh? I'm not used to doing the orders yet. I still haven't got over the 7-page mood back in the day. Still haven't got over that just yet. Let alone doing 3, 6, 9, 12 orders. What was that move? It melded with the floor again, and there was only one of them. Ah, I told you, didn't I? I told you, did I not? You were correct to say it was a living creature. Looks like you found it out firsthand now. It's carnivorous, you know. There are quite a lot of undiscovered insects to be found in nature. And Josuke, that action you just took is what one would call a pursuit. Oh shit! Do you by chance intend to pursue again? Perhaps me as well. He's got played. The boy got played completely. First, you'll have to deal with this lone rock insect. Do da 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 da. Before you go home, why don't you take a look at what you can see if you get up from that chair? You've been trying to bring us out in the open like that the whole time. The disasters have been attacks to get us out in the open. If that's your aim, then where are the branch of the fruit of the new rocker? If you currently already have the new rocker, that should be enough, right? Oh, was that a difficult question for you to answer? Why so quiet all of a sudden? Is it perhaps because you haven't gotten your hands on it yet? Oh shit, this boy! And now they probe each other. Now they probe each other's intentions. And there we are. That is 98. Bruh. What a chapter. He just vibe checked him completely. Legit, straight up just vibe checked the actual antagonist. He was like, bro, I know you've been doing this the whole entire time. You don't have it, do you? He's like, oh shit, you found me out. Oh shit, what do I do now? I like Josuke. Instead of being like, I punched thee in the face, he's like, vibe check. And you're like, yeah, all right. I kind of like the direction this part's going in now, because it's just kind of, it's nothing. It's not like anything else. This part, it's still just in its own vacuum of JoJo. That's why I kind of like it so much now, because it's just kind of like you kind of get a different experience out of it because you look at it from a different perspective. If you look at it from outside of JoJo, it's kind of its own thing. It's kind of like, what if you kind of just psyched out your antagonist instead? I mean, part of me did kind of do that sometimes, don't get me wrong, but this part more than anything, it's kind of been like, it's actually psyching out everyone instead. I kind of like it. I even like how Josuke's kind of just taking a more like laxed approach to everything, because again, in this part of the whole entirety of JoJo, by now they would have actually kind of pursued the actual antagonist, actually kind of went, you know what, dude, you're shit, and then just beat him up, and then that actually would have been the end of the part. But in this context, maybe someone would have died in the process, we don't know. That happens in JoJo. But in this context, it's kind of like, it's different. Josuke's kind of taking a more like lax approach and actually kind of said, "What? Okay, we know how you work, so I'm gonna just kind of sit here and make you actually come to me instead." And Momosuke's just kind of like, "Wait a minute, that's illegal. You can't do that." That's the whole entirety of like Momosuke Rai's actual kind of like perception. This whole entire chapter, he's like, "Wait a minute, that's illegal," and then it's just, but it's kind of interesting because it's one of those things like how even when you're like, oh, he's been played, he actually knows what this whole entire thing. He's like, no, bro, no, there's more to it. I'm kind of like, it's a very standard fight in JoJo, but it's kind of taken the whole entire fight out of it, and instead actually kind of taking it from a perspective, it's actually kind of like, but wait a minute. You don't know what you're doing. It's interesting. It's an interesting way to do everything, because it's kind of like, it's a more, I guess, technically psychological way of doing it. It's more like they get into the heads of the antagonist rather than actually kind of like, oh yeah, by the way, punching solves everything in JoJo, which technically hasn't been the context in a very long time, but you know what I mean. I kind of like it. I like it a lot more because it's more interesting. I also like how out of these things, it births more motivation for characters as well. The same thing with Joshu as well. Joshu's actual kind of like, he MIA'd for half the entire manga. He was just kind of vibing somewhere, and out of nowhere the boy saved Yashahiro as well. That's one thing to note. The boy just saved her completely, and now he's basically doing his part as well. I kind of like that because, again, I said beforehand, Josuke is the JoJo of JoJo Part 8, but at the same time, it's not just his storyline. It's actually everyone else's actually kind of melding with Josuke's actual kind of like life in a way. I kind of like that because, again, it gives more agency to other characters that would otherwise kind of just be there for maybe a couple of arcs, and that's about it. But because they MIA, they come back and actually do something. They actually are doing something pretty freaking cool. I kind of like that because, again, these chapters haven't been standard JoJo chapters. These have been kind of like what otherwise associated with probably like probably Civil War, and also then True Man's World from part 7. They're very much akin to that kind of fight. Though there were fights in that chapter, it's more trying to get into the head of the actual characters. Same thing applies here. It's more like they're going for a more like lax approach to fighting, but looking at it from a different perspective, because there you kind of get more out actually experiencing how the antagonist actually will then defeat the protagonist. That's if he actually is the antagonist, because technically speaking, I still don't maintain it actually is one. I still maintain this whole entire part will just be a fight between every party instead. It'll be an all-out kind of fight between every single party, or at the end of it, no one gets it. That's the thing also. Actually, how the pursuit basically led to your downfall. Which I guess is kind of like another thing is what this actual part's kind of going for. Because what happened to Job in the last chapter kind of doesn't very hint at that. Like, in essence, how he's like, Higashikata does always win, and then boom, he's kind of just out of commission. It kind of just tells you there and then. Like, it's just things that kind of do and very kind of get birthed out of this whole entire thing. I like that. It's not a standard. This is no standard JoJo. This is actually kind of like it's a new JoJo essentially. Part 7 was kind of like the start of this whole entire like idea, and actually it still stands as probably the best part of JoJo. But it's kind of like Araki just kind of going, okay, I know what I'm doing now. And actually, he's now just trying to like meld it into its own thing. To kind of differentiate itself from other parts. And I actually kind of like that, because again, if you look at it from outside of how you know JoJo, it's actually kind of a more rich experience in a way. You kind of get a load more out of it. And yeah, I mean, we have to wait and see how this whole entire thing transpires, especially with Toru as well, because Toru's actually kind of taken a more like active role into the whole entire world. And I was expecting, and I actually kind of like him a lot more because of it, and actually how Yashoho actually will in theory get out of this whole entire thing. We don't know, but very much I actually do like the direction it actually is going. It's going down a very cool direction. Not what I was expecting, I actually kind of like it. And also a whole lot of swag as well, which actually is kind of a nice topping on top. But yeah, that'll do it for today. Have indeed been the drive. Actually have enjoyed this whole entire stream as a whole on YouTube, and doing free, leave a like, because indeed it's been quite a bit. Actually have enjoyed this whole entire stream as a whole on YouTube, and doing free, leave a sub, because indeed it's been quite a bit. So I actually then have enjoyed this stream on Twitch as well, and doing free, follow me on Twitch, because indeed it's been quite a bit. Actually have enjoyed this whole entire stream as a whole on Twitch, then doing free, leave a follow on Twitter, or join the Discord as well, because both of you help me quite a lot, and both of them tell you when new streams are live and any other streams I do as well. But until next time, chapter 99 of JoJo Part 8, Jojolion. See you guys later. Bye for now.